Okay, so we are recording, and I will edit this part out later.
Yes.
Triumphed over yellow. You've conquered red. You've mastered blue. You've triumphed over yellow. You've caught them all. And now you're ready for the next step. Welcome to the world of Pokemon Gold and
It's
Silver.
weird that this is actually
Tons
a thing
of
now
new
because of Pokemon Go.
New adventures and worlds to explore.
Yeah.
New badges to collect.
I think
So
it's
you've
probably
got to
commercials
ask
like this
yourself,
that, made
have you got what
imagine
it
playing
takes?
Pokemon in the
Pokemon Gold and Silver,
trial.
ready for everyone. Gotta catch 'em all.
Gotta use your imagination.
But in general, I don't think that commercial is as good as the original one because you had like all the Pokemon on the bus, then the guy puts it in a compactor and then it turns into a Game Boy. Like, that was just a lot cooler.
They do have the cool grape Game Boy Color though. in that ad.
It's indigo.
Or yeah. Whatever they
You've conquered red. You've mastered.
Yeah, we'll just forget the music for now. Anyway, good evening, folks. Welcome to the Game
It's
Reserve. My name is Jagger Newman. I'm wearing these parts. And playing Pokemon Gen 2. That is Silver, Gold, and Crystal. And joining me tonight is, of course, the Pokemon, or Mr. and Mrs. Pokemon. I need to start calling you guys that.
Yeah.
Autumn and Manny.
Hello again. We're back.
And hanging out with us today is also the lovely and talented Professor Tempo, also known as Lois.
Hi all.
Alright, so, Pokemon, it sold like a couple of copies, didn't it, guys? Wasn't that popular, was it?
Only the most popular franchise in the whole entire world, highest grossing.
Giving Disney a run for its money.
Yeah, the yellow mouses beat out the Steamboat Willie Mouse. We also have with us today the original Prima Guides. It's very much falling apart, but it is a precious artifact of the before times.
Back when we had strategy guides.
Yeah, when you had strategy guides, when you could proclaim you had maps of every region, because there were 2 of them, and they were both in the game. Pokemon is celebrating its 30th anniversary this year. At time of recording, we have not had Pokemon Day yet, but hopefully the year is going to be exciting for Pokemon fans, and exciting for us together on this adventure together.
Yeah.
Fun.
As you guys can see, Autumn is very excited. You guys all know she is a huge fan of this franchise. And for a lot of people, Pokemon Gen 2, I find, seems to be the zenith of the franchise. Like, this seems to be everybody's favorite game in the series. And it was also the height of Pokemon in general, I think, because you had 2 movies at this point. Pokemon the movie 2000 had just came out. Pokemon the movie 3 was right around the corner. The anime was in its 2nd season, and it would eventually go to Johto. So Gen 2 was just highly anticipated, and I just don't think Pokemon was ever as popular as it was when this game came out. What do you guys remember in regards to that?
I'll go ahead. So, as I have mentioned, I am basically the same age as Pokemon. I was watching the anime a bunch as a child, and I didn't get a game until the Game Boy Advance, and I played not Heart Gold. That's the remake of this game, Fire Red and Green Leaf. My favorite game in the whole Pokemon franchise is Heart Gold and Soul Silver, which is the remake of what we're playing today. Pokemon at this time still had its original fans that were children and maybe some teenagers, and then the people that were my age that were literally infants when Pokemon came to the US, it eventually hit us. So the big wave of Pokemania was still, it hadn't fully crested and fallen, it was still on its big ol' rise to conquer the globe.
Exactly. What about you, Manny? What do you think?
Well, if you ask me, my favorite's actually Gen 5.
Yeah, fair enough.
But a lot of the reason for it is because it's so similar to Gen 1. Because with it was very underrated when it first came out, but I think now people look at it fondly. But Gen 5 definitely tried to recreate the experience of Gen 1.
2?
No, just specifically Gen 1. Because
the Pokemon designs mirrored the first generation.
And they locked you into the Pokédex not even the 5th gen Pokédex until the end of the game. So like every Pokemon that you encounter is going to be new until you beat the game. So you're going in fresh. And it also made it a little easier for people to like get into it and understand the mechanics of Pokemon, specifically with this type of matchups, because you will not get far without knowing these type of matchups.
Well, that explains why you're a fan of Gen 5, but how you feel about Gen 2?
I played Gen 2, not as much as I played Gen 1, because I put a lot of hours into Pokemon Red, and did a lot of stuff in it.
As a little child.
Gen 2 was good. I played the less popular Pokemon Gold, but I had no complaints about it. Not necessarily my favorite, but definitely not a bad game by any means. They definitely improved from the original, because the original had a lot of jank and it kind of streamlined it a little bit.
We'll talk about that. And of course, Lois, I know you're still new to gaming, but do you remember anything about when Gen 2 came out?
I don't know if that was Gen 2, the game that I played. So, like, before we started the showcase, I was telling Autumn and Manny and...
Yeah, that's fine.
Okay, so...
The guy in the hat.
Yes.
Sorry.
The man in the hat. Anyway, I was telling them how, like, my first exposure to the game was the PC ripoff way back when.
Yeah.
In the early 2000s. So, yeah. And the game, as I remember, wasn't full color.
Yes.
Like, it was that setting. So, I don't think it was...
Yeah, this is Gen 1 that's playing. This is the...
It was either Pokemon Yellow or it was one of the Gen 2 games, but...
I don't know. I don't know which version it was or anything. So I just came across and I played it. Yeah.
But you're not really sure if you played it, but you definitely remember some Pokemon Mania, don't you?
Oh my goodness, yeah. Like, we had, like, the comic books, watching it, like, stuffed animals.
It really was the biggest franchise in the world at the time.
Kids singing the song left and right.
Yeah.
Probably something they still do. Mrs. Music teacher.
No, I know that. Well, actually, I think... What was it? I don't know. Like, if I see it, if I hear it, then I'd start singing along.
I'm not even sure if Pokemon is as popular with the kids now than it was back then.
I think it's less popular, but it's definitely, I think like they make most of their money from like merchandising. So
I would say so.
They sell both to like children and to adults. So.
Yeah. But I think we've talked about this enough, guys. Ready to get into the game itself.
Yeah.
And since this is Autumn's franchise, she's going to be behind the wheel this time. Careful, don't knock everything over.
Yeah, don't make everything fall, yeah.
Alright, and we're going to be emulating this game because I don't really have a way to record footage directly off a Game Boy, so...
No Game Boy player.
No Game Boy player. And unfortunately, I couldn't get the damn transfer packs to work either, so we could have played this through Pokemon Stadium, but what are you going to do? Anyway, Pokemon Gen 2. Pretty good title screen. I like how they have the legendary silhouetted there.
So this game has a real-time clock, and it is one of the things that I enjoyed the most actually about this entry is because when you're a kid, it's a lot easier to suspend your disbelief. And it really feels like you're like in the Pokemon world when you're sitting playing on your little Game Boy or at your computer with an emulator or with the original ripoffs.
What's funny, I don't know how long Autumn had her copy of Pokemon Crystal, but she was playing it last night and the clock was still synced up.
I had to reset it. It asked me, the save was still there, but I had to set it. But literally, as we went to the at time of the recording, we went to the Magic the Gathering pre-release for more Wind Eclipse, and while we were there, I was playing Pokemon Crystal, and it was literally the daylight change, the daylight savings time change happened, and it happened in game. The sun was going down outside in the real world, and the sun was going down in the game.
Yeah, and the internal clock that this game has is also important to gameplay as well, because aren't there certain Pokemon that you can only catch at night in this game?
Correct. There's daytime Pokemon and nighttime Pokemon. And some battles can only be, with trainers can only happen at night. For example, there's like some security guards that only battle you at night.
I think it's also clever because it gives them more real estate to put double the amount of Pokemon from the last game.
Yeah, something like that.
Is today Saturday?
No. Yes.
Today is Saturday.
It's not Saturday. It is. Yeah, we're gonna be accurate. I don't know if it's daylight savings time, but it's whatever. We have this weird antiquated thing in America, and yes, I do know how to use the phone, but Mom's just gonna tell me anyway, like how moms do in real life. I'm like, okay, honey, but I'm gonna tell you anyway, so you know. Pokemon ZA is the most recent Pokemon game to have come out.
Either of you guys actually played that?
I have played it to completion. I have, including the DLC. Manny, how far did you get in it?
I'm almost done with it. No, I'm halfway done with the main story. You've been playing a lot more of it than I was.
I haven't taken the time to play it myself. I just finished Metroid Prime 4, and now I'm working on Sonic Racing Cross Worlds, and then I got Ghost of Yotai, so...
Yeah, I was also playing Metroid Prime 4. I was like 80%. I finished it with like 80% completion, so...
Alright, so... Of the three starters here, who is everyone's favorite here? Because I obviously go with Totodile, because he's awesome.
So, my personal opinion is that the Johto starter trio is almost perfect in the sense that, I have almost loved all of them equally at different times throughout my life. We're gonna look at the other ones. We might go with Totodile.
I'd name mine Ripster.
I keep clicking.
We'll see.
Nah.
No, I just keep double clicking because They added some really nice quality of life features finally in ZA, where if you click double to heal at the Pokemon Center, they're like, no, you're healed up, you don't need to go through this, but at this point, no. But the reason why I mentioned ZA is because Totodile and Chikorita, which we just saw, got Mega Forms because of the return of the Mega Evolution, and Cyndaquil has a alternative Hisuian form for Typhlosion. So I think we're gonna go with Totodile since it's Jager's favorite.
I'm still waiting for the day when we have a shark-themed fighting Pokemon.
Speaking of ZA, there is a thing that happens where you're, in this little park area, and there's some water features, and there's a bunch of Carnivines, and then literally a Sharpedo charges at you. And I was it was like, cover my forest! And I caught it, and I put it on my team. I'm gonna name you Munch.
Oh, that's cute.
Of course you would say that.
It's a fun sounding word, and it's also...
Mr. Pokemon.
It rhymes with good stuff.
So-
Punch.
Yes.
And not that I want to cut you off as far as Pokemon ZA is concerned,
Yeah,
Autumn, but we probably should talk about the game we're
actually playing this game, so we're going to talk about this. But it was nice to see the return of Chikorita and Totodile, because the reason why I brought it up more specifically is that I've always really liked Chikorita, and people have not been kind. I really like the design of Chikorita's Mega Evolution, which is Final Form Meganium. But it's interesting. Previously, before we started recording, we're talking about the Space World demo, and Chikorita was solid from the beginning, and the other two starters were not finalized.
I've always thought Chikorita was adorable.
It is. I think it's way overblown how people are negative about it.
So, I think the first thing we should talk about are the graphics here. So, I think the obvious thing is
The sprite work is way better here than the original.
Oh yeah, sprite work is a lot better. Geodude actually looks like a rock instead of like that thing from Basket Case.
Especially the back sprites. The back sprites are a lot better now. Because before, like, you didn't really know what the heck you were looking at.
Oh yeah.
But now, like, they're a lot more clear. They're able to use more colors because it's actually taking advantage of the Game Boy Color hardware rather than just the standard Game Boy hardware.
Yeah, and, you know, I wouldn't say that the presentation in general has been up tremendously from the original game, but, you know, the colors do look nice. It probably makes it easier to play on a original Game Boy as well. And as Manny says, the artwork is just better here. Like, they definitely had time to refine the style compared to the original game.
Yeah, I mean, if you want rough, if you look at Pokemon Green, that's even worse.
I'll tell something, a quick little story. When I was first playing these games on emulators, when I was going back as like a kid, before, you know, I bought my copy of Crystal, because like, I had a copy of Crystal, I got rid of it, I had a copy of Gold, I got rid of it, and then I finally rebought Crystal. But I remember opening up Pokemon Green and being absolutely terrified by one of the sprites, and I had a nightmare where like it was really just a compressed, scrungly looking creepypasta sprite, so my brain gave me a proprietary creepypasta dream with Pokemon Green sprites because they're just that scuffed.
But which Pokemon was it?
I don't know, it was probably one of the ones that's like really, obviously, it might have been Geodude, but it might have, it might have been like, Charmeleon's back sprite in Gen 1 is atrocious. He's got like a singular back horn as opposed to like a head that ends in a point.
But yeah, graphics here are a lot better. And there are some quality of life improvements, as Autumn has stated. One thing I am still a little irritated by is that, you know, it's still a little clunky having to level your Pokemon because, you know, they don't share the XP, so they actually have to be in battle in order to get some, you know, XP.
Yeah, the XPL was not introduced until Gen 6, I believe, which is...
Well, you don't, when you get it, there wasn't XP all in...
But there's an XP share, it's not an XP all, it's just an XP share.
But basically what I'm saying is, if you want all your Pokemon to be at roughly the same level, you're unfortunately going to have to grind, and that takes forever. Like, I did replay Pokemon Gen 2 for this video because me and Autumn were planning to take our individual teams and bring them to life in Pokemon Stadium 2, which unfortunately we're not going to get to do because the damn transfer packs won't work.
We really did try.
Yeah, and those and just a side note about Pokemon Stadium 2, those had unique sprites and unique cries that differ from the game rather than like what we have now where it's like all the same.
They also have
across games.
Yeah, so. Like a different Pokemon have different animations for their specific moves, and also that some other people have done the cool work of showing the different shinies. I was gonna bring the red Gyarados in because shiny Pokemon were introduced in Generation 2, which happens to be one of my favorite part of playing Pokemon.
Why don't you,
One of the nice additions is definitely that EXP bar.
Oh yes, you can see the EXP bar. You used to not be able to in the original.
Oh yeah, I remember that.
Very, very very nice life, quality of life change.
But it is very annoying when, like, you get, like, a huge chunk of XP, and then it fills up, but then it just stops right before it rolls over.
Yeah.
Which is especially irritating when you're grinding.
Well, to be fair, you're not likely to see multiple level-ups in this game.
Something else I will say about Gen 2 is it's definitely more story-driven.
Yeah.
Like, there's definitely more characterization here, and it's one of the few games that actually follows up on the events of the previous game with Team Rocket and everything. And your rival actually goes through something of a story arc too, so...
Yeah, they, not to touch too much on Heart Gold and Soul Silver, but they add in like a special event to really finish that rival's story. If you know, you know. It's obviously, if you're doing the rough math, the game is 25 years old, basically. But the Pokemon Adventures manga, or Pokemon Special, depending on what they call it in your region, is very faithful to, and continues both the story from Red, Blue, and Yellow, and adds the characters from Gold, Silver, and Crystal, and then it follows the story somewhat. Like, different characters have different roles. For example, like Sabrina, the gym leader, is a member of Team Rocket in the manga, but you know, there's like it's really good. I have the Viz Big novels that compile it, and it's a great manga. I highly recommend it. There's also other manga that were made for the Pokemon series, but that one that follows the story of the games is really nice.
Oh no, looks like Professor Elm is under attack.
He's been robbed! Oh no!
Get your ass back there.
Pokemon.
Where you going? You're going the wrong way.
I know, I need this fruit-bearing tree for when I get poisoned.
But you gotta go save the professor.
I'm gonna, but...
You're wasting time.
No.
He could be inside right now, threatening the man with the gun.
He doesn't have a Remoraid.
A what?
Remoraid.
So, it's the gun Pokemon before...
Gun?
Like when I said the Space World thing, literally it looks like a gun, but now it's just a fish. And when it evolved, it turned into an octopus that was also a tank. So like the theming got like turned down in the development cycle, which is like one of the weird things that just like people that know Pokemon are like, yeah, this man used to be a gun.
I mean,
he's just a fish now.
The naming conventions are based off weapons.
Yeah, that's what it's from.
Probably being named after Remington, and artillery, based off artillery.
Yeah, that's where it comes from. So
we've been talking up the storm here. Lois hasn't had much to say on this. What do you think, Lois?
I only watched the anime like way back in like turn of the century.
Yeah.
So that's like, I think that's still the original.
Yeah,
series.
it would be.
I think
I don't know the original series.
I think around that time they actually were making the Jump to Johto third season of the show, Johto League Journeys. And I also remember that's where a lot of people lost interest in the anime.
Oh.
Because like the original 2 seasons, like they had a tendency to stay focused. There would usually be 1 or 2 levels where Ash and the gang deal with something as they're on their way to the next town to face the next gym leader. But there wasn't a lot of space in between those gym leader battles. But then you get to Johto League, and there's just so much happening between those gym leaders. Like, they were in Johto for, I think, 3 or 4 seasons. So,
I mean, if you want to know something crazy, the original Pokemon anime ended about 2 to 3 years ago. Like from the original anime.
Oh, he's talking about
the Ash's story. So like, we may have talked about this a previous time, but there is a big thing about the Pokemon and Digimon franchises where, what's better? And Pokemon is obviously, the biggest media franchise out there, so in theory they win if you are only counting by monies and dollars earned, but I hear the new Digimon game is good.
I think Digimon is bigger in more niche weeaboo circles. I do hear a lot about Digimon nowadays, not as much as I did back then. But like it still has a place among circles.
So
honestly, as far as Digimon is concerned, that's one of those franchises I hear the name and I'm like, wait, that still exists?
Yeah, they literally just had a mainline game release like right around the same time as ZA, and the thing that I would say is of note is that you can tell that the Pokemon Company kind of sort of rests on their laurels a bit, and like they understand what they're doing, but at the same time, they should be hiring more staff for the stuff that they don't know how to do.
Yeah, they need to. What they need to do is stop being Bethesda. They need to stop that. Because you billion-dollar company, please make this please put out a polished product. Before it becomes a. I mean, to be fair, like Pokemon Red and Blue was never polished in the first place.
The game took 6 years to make, and it barely came out at all.
So, like, here's a question for Lois. Do you remember, in the original Pokemon series, what the most powerful Pokemon type was?
The mystery one.
The Psychic type is probably what you're looking for.
That's what I'm.
Do you know why the Psychic types were so powerful in the original game?
I think that's where I stopped watching. Like, nothing against it, but they were explaining stuff, and I think that's when, like, either Digimon just got imported, and like they were like going to the next season there was some issue with it, so like we wanted more after that. I don't know, like I stopped watching it because whatever.
Name him Sam.
Sam?
Yeah, well, I do have a.
Oh, that's not.
Hey, don't give up.
I do have a explanation for it. The reason why Psychic types were so good. Keep in mind, Psychic types have weakness. And during this time of Red and Blue, they had two weaknesses. They had weaknesses to Bug, and they had weaknesses to Ghost. But when your only good Ghost move was Lick, and your Ghost Pokemon were the Ghastly line,
and
which were already weak to Psychic, then your best Bug Pokemon being like a Venonat or a Butterfree, you weren't competing with the likes of a Starmie, an Alakazam, or a Mewtwo, which happened to be one of the better Pokemon in the game.
So, essentially the reason Psychic types were so powerful in the original game was because of a programming error. Because of a programming error, the type got a major boost in power, so if you had a Psychic on your team, you could basically just pwn most of the people in the game.
Yeah, the Psychics relied heavily on the special stat, which was also really busted.
Well, in the original game, they didn't have the special stat. That's actually something they introduced.
Yeah, the special split didn't happen until they just had a singular special.
If anything, the singular special stat made him even more broken because if you use Amnesia, you were practically unkillable.
Yeah. And that is something that Gen 2 tries to do. It does try to balance out the game a little bit more. They introduce Dark and Steel type,
yes,
which were introduced primarily to balance out the Psychic types.
Oh yeah, it was a heavy nerf to Psychic types.
Like I remember that during my most recent game, like I taught my Totodile how to do bites, and once I had bite, and because Totodile was always my strongest Pokemon, I was able to just pwn Psychic types from that point on. So if I had a Dark type Pokemon and had him do bites, I would probably take out a Psychic type in one shot. Psychic types are still really powerful in Gen 2. They hadn't completely balanced it out, but they're definitely easier to manage in this game.
Yeah,
that's
with
for sure.
the advent of Steel types, you could throw in a Steel type with the Steelix, and you won't get completely bulldozed. And of course, Dark types are completely immune to Psychic, so you had options. I don't think there's any particularly stellar Dark types during this time, but they could definitely now handle, your Alakazams and your Starmies now.
I think the Dark type everyone remembers is the one that Eevee evolves into. What's that one called?
Umbreon.
Yeah, that's the one. Do you remember that one meme I told you about? It was like an Umbreon and I think Voltion. Like meeting like the two dogs in 101 Dalmatians. They had a bunch of babies and they're all just regular Eevees.
Yeah.
Like you thought that was really cute, even though I had to explain to you why they had a bunch of Eevees.
Yeah.
And then when we went to Carowinds, I happened to win you an Eevee plushie from the machines.
Lots of Pidgeys on this Route 1.
Pidgeys are all over
Yeah,
the
I have
place.
not seen I have not seen a Furret, which is interesting.
Yeah.
Like, the flying type I got for my playthrough was, the one that Hoot Hoot evolves into?
Noctowl.
Noctowl.
Yeah, that's the one. That's a cool looking Pokemon. Owls are cool.
So, I was gonna mention this when we were talking about the anime. One of the things that is interesting about Generation 2, as a person who went to design school, is that they made the Generation 2 Pokemon easier to animate. Specifically, the things are a lot more simple, lots of simple shapes, and I remember, it might have been Did You Know Gaming, translating some articles, and they basically were like, in Gen 3, we do what we want. Maybe we don't need to focus on... Because obviously the anime made a bunch of money and allowed Pokemon to continue to be a thing that exists.
And what's interesting about, Gen 2, there's a few Pokemon out there in Gen 2 that, wouldn't be considered good if you were playing the game, but, like, are actually considered good in the TCG. It's very strange. For example, Noctowl just now, that's a very popular pick in the recent Terranox, which, it allows them to ramp their Pokemon. I think that's going to get rotated out pretty soon. I'm not sure how that rotation goes, but, like, Pokemon that you would never ever use in the game are usually good in the TCG, like,
Garbodor is
Garbodor, Badoo.
Yeah, Badoo came out in just the recent, and I remember, was it the Eevee set?
Prismatic
Evolutions, yeah. It became a menace.
Badoo ruined that game.
So let's
That
see.
reminds me of something else that they introduced in this game, guys, and that's breeding.
Yes, that's also in the manga, and that's actually something we just saw. Mr. Pokemon, there's eggs now. I very much enjoy the breeding mechanic. It also ties into the shiny hunting with Matsuno method eventually in other generations later on. But one of the things that's interesting about Generation 2 in the North American release, which we're playing, the odd egg event was automatically in the English versions of the game. There was a special event that you had to, like, go outside of your house to add onto your card to get an odd egg, which had a chance of being shiny, a higher than normal chance of being shiny, and it was the bunch of the baby Pokemon.
Having a hard time staying awake, aren't you, Lois?
Look, Lord of the Rings Extended Edition does it to us all. I could disclose information that look people, I said no to the I asked regular or extended edition, and I was like, have fun.
Yeah, even I could stay awake for it. So.
Like, Caterpie's back sprite is so good. It's like you can really see it looks exactly it looks exactly like the little guy from the anime that Misty's afraid of. So this is what Jigger was talking about, how you have to switch Pokemon in order to get some levels up. I caught this Caterpie because Metapod can only harden, as, you know.
Like, Caterpie is basically useless until you raise it into a Butterfree.
Well, at least Caterpie knows Tackle. If you capture a straight Metapod, you have an uphill battle because Metapod has no means of defending itself.
No means of doing damage. It's defending itself, and that's all it's doing.
I remember there was one episode of Pokemon where Ash battled a guy and he sent out Metapod.
Yeah.
And then he sent out Metapod 2. So they just kept telling their Metapods to harden again and again. And, like, neither of them can see that this fight isn't going anywhere.
So this is the first Pokemon trainer battle that you can do with a regular trainer. And is this who I think it is? Is it the man, the myth himself?
Youngster Joey.
It's Youngster Joey!
there something special about youngster Joey that I'm not getting?
Yes, there is. There's a mechanic in this game where you get other people's phone numbers and they will call you. And this man will call you and tell you about how cool this Rat-a-tat is. And I probably should have switched. But he's like, my Rat-a-tat is the best Rat-a-tat that ever exists. You don't even know, guys. He's like the number one.
He's like
Rat-a-tat.
the 1%.
Like he's a
like
like what? Yeah. And so he also calls and talks to you about wearing shorts. And because it's such an asinine dialogue, he's like he'll call you up just to say nonsense words. But again, when you're a child, it really makes the world feel lived in. But like when you're a teenager replaying these games, if they were your childhood games, you're like, this man. This child, why? What does he? Why? What is his deal?
I thought kids weren't supposed to get Pokemon until they turn 10.
Well, I don't think they're supposed to explore the world until they're 10, but I don't know how it's supposed to work nowadays. Because, I mean, nothing's stopping a child from having Pokemon. I mean, heck, there's literally an Elite Four member who is an actual toddler.
It's in Scarlet and Violet, though.
Yeah.
I remember in like the X and Y series, though, like the little girl that was traveling with Ash and his friends.
Yeah, she didn't have one, but her electric gym brother did.
Yeah, he had to keep her Pokemon for her. So, yeah.
There's straight up an Elite Four member who is an actual toddler, and she is a Steel type trainer.
Yeah, it's very funny how the Pokemon franchise has changed.
Yeah, she has some of the nastiest Pokemon on that team.
So, speaking of change, this game still has the game corner in it, which means gambling for children, which means slot machines. But I want to say, I prefer this kind of gambling in like Luigi teaching children how to play blackjack as opposed to microtransactions, which are actual gambling for the babies.
Or the TCG.
Well, when are they going to go on national?
or the TCG, that's also gambling.
Yeah, it is. Cracking packs.
Man, I get so upset thinking about it because it's clearly meant for children.
Yeah,
but the adults just ruin the hobby.
Okay, so I have a question. Do you guys actually know how to play the Pokemon trading card game?
I do.
He does. I don't.
I mean, if you play Pokemon
Okay,
Pocket,
that
you're
I
halfway
actually
there.
find to be amazing. There is something Pokemon related that Autumn does not know how to do.
It's not that hard. I mean,
I like the pretty art.
Who are you and what have you done with my friend Autumn?
Look, I like collecting the art. One of the things that's nice about the Pokemon trading card game is that like really minor characters get really good art.
Oh yeah, for sure. Like Lacey has some pretty good art, and those cards go for a lot. Arvin is a top card currently, and that enables a bunch of strategies, a bunch of weird items get used, a bunch of weird Pokemon get used.
As we mentioned, we went to the Lorwyn Eclipse pre-release last night, and we basically I only have room for one TCG at a time.
I played
in my brain.
I mean, I played it a while back, and I remember Cynthia was the big thing.
Yeah. I played Pocket, so like in theory I could technically say I know how to play the trading card game, but not if you actually are like talking about the paper card game.
Honestly, if you know how to play Pocket, you could play the real TCG. It is not much different.
Yeah, it kind of reminds me of Hearthstone, which I haven't played really in years, but
So, Lois, was the trading card game big in Korea?
It wasn't there until...
Oh yeah, you told me that there was a time when Korea wasn't taking in stuff from Japan, right?
Well, no, it's just that the cards weren't a thing until like 2000 something. Like
I will say TCGs in the form that we know it now were not a thing until like the 90s.
Well, Pokemon came out in the 90s.
Yeah, but you want to know who made those Pokemon cards?
Who?
Wizards of the Coast.
And that's the people who make Magic the
That's
Gathering.
the one who made Magic the Gathering, and they pretty much made like the first actual like TCG that
as we know it.
Where people compete with them.
Where there's like organized tournaments and stuff.
You ever play a game like that?
No, it wasn't a thing when I was growing up. Like, and then I didn't see the TCG stuff like until I went back to Korea later on. So I don't know.
To be fair, TCG was still niche during this time. It didn't really gain traction until probably during the Pokemon boom, because I remember when that happened, like everybody wanted to play the Pokemon card game.
Even if we didn't even know how to play it.
Exactly.
I remember spending so much money on Pokemon cards. I remember trading them on the playground. There was even one occasion where I traded a kid a couple of Pokemon cards for a video game.
Yeah.
And it was that popular.
It really is.
And we had this huge book of Pokemon cards and everything. Nobody at the time knew how to play the freaking game.
Yeah, and like I said, trading cards back then were basically usually just sports cards, and it's like, hey, I got this guy from the Yankees. I'll trade you for this Red Sox guy, and you just collect them. But now, these cards have actual uses and retro rules on them, and you could actually play a game with them as you collect them.
Look, it's the man! It's literally what I said! This is why people... Because, you're just trying to play the game, and this guy's like, hey! Howdy, it's me, Joey. Isn't it nice out? My Ratatat's looking awesome! I wish I could show you! Hey, I almost caught Caterpie the other day! Oh, it was so close too. See you later!
How would you respond if I called you and just said something like that?
I mean, he's
alone.
Thanks.
I'll call you later.
I'll talk to you later. Good night. But that's actually how the rematch system was handled in this game.
And the rematches are actually good because, for grinding purposes, it allows you to pitch your Pokemon against, something stronger than wild Pokemon. But, I don't think it's as effective because eventually they just stop leveling. And you just keep one-shotting them.
There's a versus seeker that basically acts like an item where you basically are like, hey, does anybody want to rematch me?
Yeah, see, Autumn has probably played this game so many times, she probably knows where everything is at this point.
I know that that we're going to the Sprout Tower, even though we have Caterpie and Totodile, and there are Bellsprouts in the Sprout Tower. Who would have thought?
Also, what is that thing moving in the center? What is that supposed to be?
It is literally the support column of the tower.
And so it's just...
It's literally just moving.
Jesus. I was like, is that the support? Yeah, that's what I thought. Is this the support tower? It can't be.
Yeah. So let's get Caterpie some XP.
So what do you think? Is Caterpie cute?
I never cared for it too much.
In the Pokemon anime, there was this whole thing about Misty finding bug types gross. So even though Caterpie really liked Misty,
she was like, I love you! And she was like, no, it's a scary bug!
I don't think Rattata was in the original.
Rattata?
Yeah, it was there. It just didn't. It wasn't really a character, though. Alright, see? Caterpie grew up a level. But we're gonna also switch so that he can get more experience.
Now, in this setting, how's Metapod gonna level up?
okay, so how you level up weaker Pokemon without, just sending them out to slaughter is you send them out.
Like so.
And then you immediately switch to a different Pokemon. So they technically participated in the battle.
So they'll get a portion of the XP, not the full amount, but they'll get something.
And see, that's one of the things I really hate about the older Pokemon because,
it is a tedious process.
Because you want to have your Pokemon all at roughly the same level,
right?
And in order to do that, you're often having to train weaker Pokemon up to a much higher level. And that just takes forever.
Yeah.
But
especially if there aren't any Pokemon around who are of a type that you can easily deal with.
Yeah, but it's also kind of like a secret trick because in Pokemon in the original Gen 1 Pokemon Red, Blue, and Yellow, there is a fisherman who would sell you a Magikarp. And and it was like 500 yen or something like that. And if you buy it, you get this useless, worthless fish that just splashes and does nothing. But by using this trick, if you go through the cave using this trick, you can come out of it with a Gyarados, which is one of the best Pokemon in the game.
It's basically a sea dragon.
Yeah.
I like Gyarados.
I mean,
what's your favorite Pokemon, Lois?
I like.
Make sure you speak up so the microphone can pick it up.
I'm thinking. The names are different.
You can tell us and then we can look it up.
Describe the Pokemon.
Well, I like the original ones. I like the Bulbasaur and the turtle ones.
Squirtle.
Yay. The fire breathing.
Charmander.
Yeah.
Charizard.
So the trio?
Yeah. So, like, just basic stuff.
The starter squad.
Yeah.
My favorite Pokemon is Machamp. He's a fighting type with 4 arms. Imagine what kind of boxer I could train him to be. What's your favorite Pokemon, Autumn?
This is a very difficult question, but right now, I think maybe I really like my Clefairy. I mean, not my Clefairy, my Clefable. Its Mega's a little weird, but it's kind of grown on me. I like it. And Gengar is also great. There's great stories about the design.
My favorite, and it's probably not a traditional one. It's actually a Ninja, and the reason for that is in Gen 5, I actually started playing more competitively, and Ninja was always that reliable lead. So he would always be the first one I would start with, and it almost never failed me. I mean, heck, to this day, I still use a Ninja if I ever play online. And it's such an old strategy that some people
will recognize it.
Some people don't recognize
it. Some people
don't,
and but then upon occasion, then you see somebody that does.
Yeah, they'll throw out a dragon, and it's oh, perfect, and just completely slaughtered them because Ninja got stronger over the years because it gained access to moves like Ice Spinner.
I just wish there were more boxing type Pokemon. I always said that there should be some based on the 3 styles of boxing: Swarmer, Outfighter, and Slugger. I feel like you could get some fun Pokemon designs out of that, but the only boxing type Pokemons are Hitmonchan and what is it? Crabrawler.
Yeah. Sock and Throw are not quite same thing.
What about the Mankey line?
Primates they got boxing gloves.
Yeah, it literally has boxing gloves. Then it loses those boxing gloves and just goes bare knuckle.
Yeah,
shakes them off like hockey players.
So this also has wild Pokemon in it.
Yeah, why is there wild Pokemon inside the tower? That doesn't make sense. So it just gotta make sense that's a Rattata.
So one of the things that's interesting about Generation 2 is that it is the most heavily Japanese-inspired region that we've had to date. And as the series has gone on, they have adapted other... you know what? I guess I'll try to catch it, and if not, we'll run away.
That is something that Pokemon games tend to do, especially as far as recent games go, now that we've gotten 3D. They've started basing the settings off of, different parts of the world, so I think...
they started with Gen 5, was the first one outside of the islands of Japan.
Pokemon.
I'm going to the Pokemon Center, what do you...
have an item?
I used my potion. I already did. I picked up 1 potion.
Okay.
Then there's Gen 6. That was based off of Paris.
No, it's based off of all of France. ZA is just Paris. That was the main... One of the big, controversies that you could point out, that you took a region and you did only a single city. What's with that?
Yeah.
There's also Hawaii in Gen 7.
I appreciate how in ZA, there's actual garbage on the streets. So just you could find garbadors on the curb.
And in Gen 7, there was actually garbage-themed Pokemon too, wasn't there?
Yeah, probably Garbodor.
Muck got in a Alolan form that looks like an oil slick.
Yeah, and you were just mentioning like, oh, you're in a temple, but why is there Pokemon in the temple? I mean, it's a rat. Like
this is literally the.
That's probably the most common thing. You like a rat wouldn't show up in a temple, really.
The different towers in this.
They're called poison.
This game are old architecture.
Oh, I remember him.
Yeah, that's Muck. She's looking at the garbage-themed Pokemon right now.
I also like the one that's singing Pokemon.
Oh, Jigglypuff?
Jigglypuff.
And then, like, she starts singing and everybody goes.
Yeah, then it pisses her off.
And she's like,
Then
you
draws
didn't listen to
all
my
over the
concert! I worked so hard on it!
They actually made a new version of Jigglypuff. It's an alternate.
Dreamtail.
Whatever happened to that Jigglypuff?
Which one?
The one in the anime he made.
Yeah, did that stop after a while?
They did, but I don't know what happened.
I think they literally just left it to a different region and it stopped showing up. It might have followed them to Johto.
They may have written it out, but I don't know.
Alright, so here's another question. Like, did Team Rocket ever give up on trying to catch Ash?
They did.
Pikachu?
They did. They like near the end of the anime, they did give up. They got all of their Pokemon back, and they just went up to Ash and like, we're gonna sell this once and for all, and they lost, clearly. And Team Rocket basically disbanded and got their own, and just got regular jobs.
You know what? They should have done a spin-off around those three, because that would have been hilarious.
That would have been a really cute thing.
So, I actually we were talking about weird dreams recently, and a weird dream I had recently was one where I had Pokemon and I was fighting Team Rocket. So you know how conflicts with Team Rocket always ends. Like, they get blown up, they get launched into the air. Team Rocket is blasted off again! And they, like, disappear into the sky. So, I was using my Machamp, and rather than send them flying, they kept beating them then into the ground. And after a while, they were just like, please just send us flying.
I would like to soar through the air and not continue to get punched into the ground.
Hitmonlee, I said, double kick.
Hitmonlee, the kicking fiend.
Yep, there's a potion.
Look, Vegeta, more bold people.
Yeah, so one of the things that is interesting is that these guys have a crossed folded arm sprite, these monks, but in the Japanese version, I think they're holding prayer beads.
Yeah, Nintendo was sensitive about that stuff back in the day, weren't they?
Yes, they were. There was a lot of religious symbolism that they had to remove. Nintendo is very what's the word? Careful about that type of thing. So they would usually err on the side of caution and just remove everything.
I remember in Castlevania, they like in Castlevania, some of your sub-weapons were the cross and holy water.
Mm-hmm.
In the American version, they rebranded them as the boomerang and the firebomb.
Yeah, but they kind of like rolled that one back. Castlevania has gotten darker, so like they just kind of gave up on that. So.
Okay, you guys want to know what one of my favorite types of Nintendo censorship is?
Sure.
So, it's from the Game Boy Metal Gear game, Metal Gear Ghost Babel. So, the thing Snake always has on hand for his missions are his trusty cigarettes.
Yes.
Because he's a chain smoker. So, smoking, obviously, that's not something you want kids doing. So, do you know what they call the cigarettes in Ghost Babel?
What?
They call them foggers.
That's weirder than calling them candy cigarettes, in my opinion.
Like, and I love that bit of trivia so much. Like, in my comic book, one of the characters is a chain smoker. His favorite brand of cigarettes is called foggers.
Oh, that's great.
There's a I mean, there's a lot of stuff that they have to censor in Pokemon, especially in the TCG. There was some stuff that they really had to change. I don't think it's as bad as Yu-Gi-Oh, but I remember like some stuff they had to change. They had to make an alternate art for Misty's Tears. They had to make the Grimer look less like a pervert. They had to...
Yeah, Grimer was looking up somebody's skirt.
They had to remove a random swastika.
I mean, it was
What?
not. It was the other symbol.
It was a Buddhist. It was the Buddhist symbol, not like a Nazi symbol.
Yeah.
But like it didn't look good, so they just removed it in general.
They were like, I don't trust the children to not get in trouble with this.
And that's just some of the examples. And like I said, it's not as bad as like say Yu-Gi-Oh. Yu-Gi-Oh, they censored a lot of cards.
Yeah, Yu-Gi-Oh has lots of weird censors, but
My favorite is that they replace the guns with people pointing.
Or
it's not even like with the thumb up. Sometimes it's almost like just this.
no, like the whole idea of Shadow Realm is a censor.
Yeah.
Because anytime death is alluded to, they just say Shadow Realm.
So,
yeah.
as I don't need to do the speaking, but I will set up the conversation. What about that there 4Kids One Piece dub?
Okay, so I know everybody and their mother hates on the 4Kids One Piece dub because it is terrible. But see, here is the thing. No matter how hard 4Kids tried, they could not ruin One Piece because the 4Kids dub is what I watched of One Piece growing up. And I still love the hell out of it, stupid dub and all. So, like,
to be specific, the cigarette in that way is censored with a lollipop, which is one of my favorite ways to censor a cigarette. Continue.
But like, people always complain about they ruin the story, but like even if you're watching it,
I mean, you get the gist of it. I mean,
like for example, like with Nami's mother, in the 4Kids dub, they say that Arlon just locked her up forever, but in the original manga and the Funimation dub, she is actually killed by Arlong. Like even as a kid, that's what he did to her. Like sometimes you just know when the censors are in the way, and they try to get rid of the blood. Yeah, they try to replace the guns with paintball guns.
they just straight up remove the cigar, yet they still called the guy Smoker.
Actually, they called him Chaser.
Is it Chaser? Okay.
Yeah, they called him Chaser.
Sounds close enough
But
to
they didn't bother to remove the smoke though. So I'm like, why is smoke coming out of his mouth? I was so confused by that.
See, look, he's evolving.
He's evolving.
Yeah, but then when you realize, like, oh yeah, he smokes a cigar. Yeah, like that makes sense. Yeah.
Yeah, we're of the age where like if we saw the 4Kids dubs of things, we kind of are able to appreciate what it is for what it is, and the fact that that's how we got to experience the media. But like,
it's okay, babe. But there are actually some lines in the 4Kids dub that I actually think were better than they are in the Funimation dub. The main one being when Luffy kicks down Arlong's door. In the Funimation dub, he just says it casually. Now, which one of you's Arlong? But I remember distinctly in the 4Kids dub when he breaks down that door to kick Arlong's butt. Luffy, it zooms in on his eye, which he's just pissed. And Luffy says it like, which one of you's Arlong? Like he means business.
yeah.
So I will say the one thing that 4Kids did very well, believe it or not, is actually music. But if it wasn't for 4Kids, we wouldn't have the Pokemon theme, for example.
Yeah, the Pokemon theme, as the Americans in English-speaking world know it, that's a 4Kids original right there. Shout out to my favorite band of all time, Bowling for Soup, and their cover of Iran.
Yeah.
Or is it Saint Seiya?
It would be under Knights of the Zodiac.
Knights of the
That is Saint
Zodiac.
Seiya, yeah.
Woo!
But yeah, that is Saint Seiya. They did a cover for that.
Yeah, Bowling for Soup, if you don't know, is the band behind the Phineas and Ferb theme song.
1 second, guys. I just want to see where we're at on time here.
I was gonna see if we.
3:30.
So we're at an hour here, guys.
Alright,
So
we can finish this battle and wrap up. This is the master right before you are able to attempt the first gym leader.
remind me again, what's the first gym leader in this game?
It is Faulkner. He is a flying type.
I hate that name, Faulkner, because it sounds like something else.
Yeah, it sounds like words that we're not saying on the broadcast because we are enjoying family-friendly entertainment.
Yeah, but you haven't clued into the reason why I asked you to name the main rival Sam, have you?
Why is he named Sam? Just tell us for clarity's reasons.
Sam is a clever acronym. It actually stands for Sorry Ass Mother.
Yeah, I mean...
Most children just name the rival Butthole.
I mean, Jagger never saw Macross or Robotech, so, like, he doesn't know about Roy Volker.
Roy Volker?
Or Volker, like, something like that.
Yeah, well, Volker sounds like a German name.
Russian, but yeah.
Well,
You realize that my name would be German,
yes.
right?
Yes. But it's... So, I might lose this, but that's fine. We're close on time anyway. It goes to show you that, you know, obviously you can attempt these however you feel like, but you can either over-level your starter and only have a singular guy, or you can have, like, a bunch of little weenies.
I will say the level curve in these games are a little weird. Like, there will be some gym challenges where they will just completely run over you, and you have to come in more prepared. So.
Alright, we'll save here in Violet City.
Alright, so I'm gonna go ahead and pause this now, and then we can give our closing thoughts.
Yep.
Okay, so why don't we hear from Lois first? What do you think of Pokemon Gen 2?
I think I would enjoy playing this.
Yeah?
Yeah.
Maybe we'll get you on it one of these days.
Yeah.
She's working on Hogwarts Legacy right now,
Yes.
guys. Yeah. Okay, so then let's hear from Autumn and Manny then. What do you guys think of Gen 2?
Yeah, I mean, it's a good game. It's definitely an improvement over the original. Like I said, I played the original, and there is a lot of quality of life that they added into this one that the original really needed. It's not a bad game by any means. A lot of people look at it fondly. I prefer it over third and fourth gen personally. And then, you know, as for Autumn.
So, this is literally one of my most favorite games. This is a very busted version of the Prima Guide that I have. I brought it with us to just show that there's a tactile version of this hobby where that stretches back very far. So I have a lot of nostalgia for this game, so it's really colored by that. But what I will say is that the music is lovely. They did really good with the art direction. The new designs are great. I would say this is like the when Pokemon didn't get to be a giant franchise and was still like it's even now it's still the games are still made by way too small of a team, but like this was the right size game with the right size team. It came out at the right time. It was a cultural touchstone, and I love it. It's a fun thing to share. It's a good thing to go back around memory lane with.
Yeah, and that's basically my thoughts on Pokemon Gen 2 as well. I think it's definitely aged, if anything, just because there's grinding in it. But, you know, at the same time, it really is one of the most complete games in the entire series. One thing we haven't even mentioned yet, it's really the only Pokemon game that is, you know, 2 campaigns in one, because once you finish with all the stuff in Johto, you're actually given the means to go back to Kanto, the region from the first game, and you can go through the gym battles in that too.
You know, I would agree with you if it wasn't for Sword and Shield, because they're doing a lot more of that now. I mean, albeit under the guise of DLC, but you know, they're adding more.
Yeah, they brought back some characters that were very minor from Gen 5 in the DLC, and I didn't even realize it, but I was like, oh, that is that lady. That there.
Yeah, Karina.
No, not Karina, Yancy.
Who's Yancy again?
Somebody that you can date in Pokemon Black and White too. I think it's
That's why I didn't play that.
It's literally a very long side quest thing that other people have done good work
Okay.
teaching the rest of us.
Okay, guys, before we get off on our tangent, we need to close out the video. That's Pokemon Gen 2, great game. And that's going to be it for tonight, guys. If you enjoyed tonight's content, please be sure to like and subscribe. We do these videos every Saturday, 8 o'clock. What we do is take a game, play for about an hour, talk about the history of the design, because, it's just a lot of fun doing that. What we do not do is play games from start to finish, because I feel like you lose something if you aren't playing the game yourself, but no disrespect to anyone who consumes a video game by watching someone else play it on YouTube. Mm-hmm. That being said, if there's anything you would like to cover in this format, please leave it in the comments. If it's something I think is worth playing, I'll take a look at it. Autumn, Manny, thank you for coming down to join us for this tonight. I know you're very excited for Gen 2.
Yeah.
Yep.
Thank you for having us.
Thank you for joining us.
Yeah, it's lovely being with everybody again.
Yeah.
And that's going to do it, guys. Hope you all have a good work week, and we'll see you next time.
Bye. Bye.